going on, metal fans? I hope you all are doing well. And today, for my metal fan subscribers, I'm going to be showing off a couple of lesser known metal bands for you guys today that maybe some of you guys need some new shit to listen to. And I also want to make a disclaimer: there will be only two death metal bands presented, as I've stated. That I don't really listen to a lot of death metal anymore. I listen to more black metal. But see, I'm really weird with death metal. Like I rarely get in the mood for death metal, but then when I do get into the mood, that's all I'll listen to for like a whole week, and then I'll just won't touch it for 3 months, unless we're talking about Morbid Angels, Altars of Madness, or Blessed of the Sick, or Blessed for the Sick. I can't remember which one. I'm terrible with album names. Blessed Are the Sick, excuse me. It's Blessed Are the Sick. Yeah, unless it's one of those albums, then I won't touch death metal for like 3 months. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. We're actually going to start out with some death metal. And we have one of the two death metal bands that I'm going to show. We've got Pissgrave, who are from Philadelphia. Now, if you like technical death metal with clean production and just absolutely technical achievements for guitar solos, and you don't like death metal in any other form whatsoever, you by all means need to stay away from this, because this is the nastiest, rawest, just filthy and disgusting death metal band I have ever heard, and it is amazing. The drums just sound so satisfyingly brutal. The guitar sounds like a chainsaw, and the vocals are just absolutely evil, and they're layered, and they sound so good, and I love it. I own their second album, Posthumous Humiliation, which is my favorite release from them so far. But their first album, Suicide Euphoria, is incredible as well. So I definitely can recommend Pissgrave. Pissgrave is a must. Alright, so we have another death metal band, and this is the final death metal band on this list. We've got Embalmer out of Cleveland, Ohio. They actually started out under the name Corpse Grinder, and they have a number of demos and EPs, but their best EP being There Was Blood Everywhere, and with their two full lengths, 13 Faces of Death and Emanations from the Crypt. Sorry, I mean to mispronounce that, but they offer me some muddy sounding death metal that may not be accessible to every metal fan out there, but the muddiness just really adds to the visceral style, the viscera, rather, of the style of death metal that they play. So, Embalmer, definitely one that I definitely gravitate towards when I get in that death metal mood. Alright, so we just have a traditional heavy metal band, Villain, out of Modesto, California. I believe that's how you pronounce that. Now, these guys, they formed back in the mid 80s, I think 1984 and 1985, somewhere in that ballpark. They have a full length titled Checkered Past, but their best work, in my opinion, is actually their first EP, Only Time Will Tell. Now, look up the song Hope's End. That song has some fan fucking tastic guitar riffs on it. Quite frankly, the entire band's small discography really just contains fantastic guitar work with just excellent guitar riffs, especially that first EP. Now, if you're not into harsh vocals, don't worry. This band is it's all clean vocals. And like if you're somebody that can't get into like death metal and black metal and grindcore and whatnot, don't worry. This is the band for you. And it seems that to me that this band here can be accessible for fans of like Saxon, Venom, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, just that style of just traditional heavy metal. So yeah, Villain. Check out Villain. They're fantastic. Alright, so we got some black metal out of Finland with a band called Horna, who have been pretty much all that I've been listening to at work for the last week and a half. Mainly their album, uh, it's in Finnish, so I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, but I'll show you a picture. This album has been on rotate lately, and I need to personally track down this album on compact disc and buy it because it's just absolutely fantastic, and I would even call it a classic, but that's just my personal opinion. The production is so perfect on this one album, and even all of their other stuff is either to me that I've listened to good or just okay at the worst. Horna is a band that I would recommend if you want to, get to explore the Finnish black metal scene, which is my personal favorite black metal scene. Like out of the Norwegian, Danish, Swedish, um, whatever black metal scene there is, Finnish black metal, I've just really grown fond of through my journey of black metal and whatnot. And other bands like Behexen and Sargeist and all kinds of other bands have just really been hitting the spot for me lately. So yeah, Horna. Definitely check out Horna. Alright, so next we have some black and thrash metal out of Los Angeles, and they go by the name of Witch Haven. They initially formed as Witching Hour, and they originally planned to be a Venom tribute band. And I recently heard their first EP, Black Thrash Assault, and the guitar riffs were just unbelievable thrash metal guitar riffs. I've recently been diving into thrash metal more as well, and it turns out since I'm such a black metal fan, I like my thrash metal blackened. And just Witch Haven is just some fantastic thrash metal. Their lyrical content consists of Satanism, and that's actually quite good because it fits their sound. These guys are great, and to my friend Jack Grimson, who's been trolling me for years now, as well as just being my friend here on YouTube, you're a thrash guy, so you need to go check these guys out. And hey, get listening to some of this black and thrash stuff. Maybe I can bring you to the black metal side through black and thrash. I already did that to you once with death metal. Remember when you hated death metal, and now you're all like, oh, I like death metal. I'm gonna get you on the black metal side eventually, Jack, if you're watching this. Alright, so we've got some doom metal out of the United Kingdom, specifically England, but we have an all time favorite band of mine, Dragged into Sunlight, and specifically their album Hatred for Mankind. I also enjoyed Widowmaker. I thought it was a good album, but Hatred for Mankind is just really dragged into sunlight at their best and their most angry and unapologetic. This is truly extreme metal at its most extreme to me. Their music is designed to make you feel uncomfortable, and that's the way extreme metal should be to me. Dragged into Sunlight, I've had nothing but positive things to say about them since I first heard them, and man, they played at the Maryland Death Fest a while ago, and I wanted to go see them, and I just couldn't go. But oh man, I got to see Dragged into Sunlight one day. But yeah, like I said, Dragged into Sunlight is one of my favorites of all time. They're just absolutely musical geniuses to me. And last but not least, some black metal out of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, Revenge, who were actually previously Conqueror. And these guys are just one of my favorite bands ever. They play the most just chaotic, barbaric, hateful, pummeling black metal that I have ever heard. And I just love how much further, they push black metal. Now, black metal was already extreme as it was, but Revenge and some of the other bands in their style have helped to put, you know, bands that help to like Beharit, Blasphemy, Bastille Warlust, Black Witchery, who I'm a fan of most of those bands as well. But Revenge just really grabbed me with their first full length, War Cult Supremacy, which they actually put that album out under when they were Conqueror. But I would say my favorite release from them when they're known as Revenge would be Behold Total Rejection, which is their 2014 release. And that to me is just Revenge just at their best. Like every album they've put out is great, don't get me wrong. And they have a similar sound. Like I've heard people argue Revenge, all their albums sound the same, but that's the thing. Revenge sounds like Revenge. So you know what you're getting with a Revenge album. You know what to expect. Just a full-on fucking assault on your senses for an entire half hour. Um, but yeah, this band Revenge just changed how I felt about black metal, and just as black metal as a genre. And black metal for me at first was hard to get into because I was just all about death metal for the longest time. I was obsessed with death metal, and then I really dove into Revenge's discography, and I ended up into after that I ended up into all kinds of different subgenres of black metal and just all these different black metal bands that I find myself going back to daily. So my love for black metal and my gratitude is owed to Revenge. So that's it, folks. Those are some bands that I can recommend to you metalheads out there. Uh, some lesser known ones that you may not have heard of. So yeah, definitely check them out. Let me know how you think of some of them if you're interested in hearing them. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'm out. Peace.